The movie begins with a new student named Dae, who is actually a secret agent from North Korea. He has come to carry out a specific mission and is disguised as a student in South Korea to hide his true identity. When he sees the other students running, he runs with them so he can blend in and act like a normal student. He enters the classroom and introduces himself, but the students laugh at him because the name Dae sounds very old-fashioned. The teacher tells him to sit in the last empty seat in the class, which happens to be next to a girl named Hyan, who is quiet and has no friends. Before long, the school bullies approach them. They demand that Hyan pay them money in exchange for protection, but she does not respond. The bullies then start bothering Dae to see how he will react. He pushes their hands away, so their leader, Enro, challenges him to a fight on the school rooftop. They all go up to the roof. Enro immediately punches Dae in the face. Even though Dae is bleeding, he does not feel pain and stays standing. He refuses to fight back because he does not want trouble or his secret identity to be exposed. One of the bullies searches Dae and finds a photo in his wallet of Dae and his family. Dae gets angry and takes the photo back because it is very precious to him. It is the only picture he has of his father, who passed away. It is revealed that Dae's father was also a North Korean agent who was killed during a mission, and Dae took over the mission after him. His sister is still alive. Dae clenches his fists and wants to hit the bullies, but he decides to endure it. Luckily, the teacher intervenes and orders everyone back to class. The next day at school, the teacher warns the students that he will punish anyone caught with a phone, as he usually does with his stick. He also decides to punish the whole class because one student was late, ordering everyone to stay after school and clean the windows. After the teacher leaves, Enro and the other bullies tell all the students to go home and force Dae and Hyan to clean the windows alone. During this time, Hyan begins to develop feelings for Dae. When Dae gets home, he receives a package from the organization he works for. Inside is a phone and some photos. Through the phone, he is given details of his mission. He must kill a traitor agent from North Korea named Deber. Deber was once one of their agents, but he murdered several of their operatives. The photo is the only image they have of him, and Dae is ordered to find and kill him. Dae gets on his motorcycle and sets off. It is revealed that Deber is a highly skilled agent who carries out assassinations carefully and leaves no evidence behind. Dae goes to a shop run by another North Korean agent and gives him the secret code used between agents. The shopkeeper gives Dae a piece of paper with a number. When Dae calls it, he reaches a baker, who is also an agent. The baker gives him a cake, and Dae pulls a gun out from inside it. The next day, Dae goes to a gym and immediately attacks the owner without warning. The owner tries to fight back, but Dae overwhelms him with fast, powerful blows and knocks him down within seconds. The gym owner asks who he is, but Dae ignores the question and asks where Deber is. When the owner refuses to answer, Dae shoots him in the leg and says, "This is your last chance. Talk if you want to live." The owner tells him that a butcher once saw Deber. Then the owner pretends he cannot move and suddenly attacks Dae with a chair. Dae strikes him hard, killing him. This is the first time Dae has ever killed someone. He feels guilty and upset with himself, but he suppresses his emotions. Later, he returns to school. The bullies are throwing trash at Hyan and ordering her to put it in the bin, enjoying humiliating her. Dae steps in and helps her clean. The bullies mock them and assume they are dating. Because of what Dae did, Hyan starts to like him even more. In science class, Dae is distracted, thinking about the crime he committed. The teacher asks him a question. Hyan tries to help him cheat, but Dae refuses and answers perfectly. All the students are surprised by how smart he is, since no one knew he was so capable. After school, Dae goes to the music room and sits at the piano. He remembers sitting beside his sister while she played and playing with her. Hyan enters the room, interrupts his memories, and apologizes for coming in. She suddenly apologizes to him, but he tells her that he was about to leave anyway, then walks away and leaves her. Later, Hyan practices dancing alone, but some girls from her class come in and start making fun of her because she was dancing. Hyan tries to leave, but one of the girls stops her and says, "When I'm talking to you, don't just walk away." Dae hears the girls bullying Hyan. After that, Dae goes back to the house where he lives with other Korean agents who pretend to be a family. Later, Dae goes to the butcher and points a gun at him, demanding information about Deber. The butcher gives him a piece of paper with the type and license plate number of Deborah's car. The butcher then tries to kill Day, but Day easily blocks his attacks, chokes him, and escapes. Using the license plate number, Day manages to find Deborah's car. He waits for Deborah to appear and get in. When Deborah finally shows up, Day follows him and stops beside him at a traffic light. He pulls out his gun, but Deborah notices quickly and starts running. Deborah also draws his weapon, but Day first shoots at the car, then aims at the tires. Deborah crashes, and his car breaks down. Day approaches him and could have killed him, but he cannot do it because people nearby are filming. However, Deborah memorizes Day's face. After that, the Korean police decide to trace the motorcycle Day was riding to find out who he is. Day returns to school, looks at the photo of his father and sister, and remembers when he and his sister were imprisoned. A colonel once summoned him to his office and told him, "If it weren't for your traitor father, I would have been promoted by now. But I don't care whether he was a traitor or not. If you and your sister want to leave prison and follow the same path, there is only one way. You must become our agent." Day accepted the mission for his sister's sake. In the present, he hears the bullies harassing Hyeon. They drag her into the lab room and forcibly take the money she saved from her job. She tries to get it back, but fails. By accident, they tear her clothes. Day hears everything and decides to step in. He enters the lab and beats the bullies badly, teaching them a harsh lesson so they will never bother Hyeon again. The 4 bullies end up lying on the floor. Dae saves Hyeon. However, the next day, Hyeon does not come to school because she feels embarrassed after what happened. Dae keeps looking at her empty seat. Enro can no longer look Dae in the eye. During class, the teacher is checking attendance. At the same time, Dae is lost in thought, thinking about Hyeon. The teacher is about to hit him on the head, but Dae instinctively grabs the teacher's hand tightly, sensing danger. When he realizes it is the teacher, he quickly lets go. The teacher feels deeply embarrassed. Because of this incident, Dae attracts the attention of the entire school. Later, the bullies are shown injured from Dae's beating. They can barely eat properly. Enro swears that once he recovers, he will take revenge on Dae. They are shocked when Dae suddenly comes and sits among them, asking, "Where does Hyeon work?" Enro is terrified and cannot even speak. After Dae finds out the location from them, he goes to the teacher he grabbed earlier and asks for permission to leave school early. The teacher agrees. Dae goes to the restaurant where Hyeon used to work, but an employee tells him that she has quit. Dae thinks he may never see her again. A few days later, on his way home from school, he meets Hyeon. She has left school and started a new job at a dance academy. It turns out that Hyeon's dream is to become a dancer. She tells Dae that she needs a guardian's signature so the academy will accept her. She asks him to sign as if he were her older brother. Dae agrees and signs for her. Her passion for art reminds him of his younger sister, who loved playing the piano. Dae wants to finish his mission quickly so his sister can be freed from prison in North Korea and they can be reunited. He feels happy when he sees a little boy playing with his sister in the rain. Then, he and Hyeon go out together. Dae is very kind to her, and she thanks him for everything he does. They spend the whole day together, and for the first time in a long while, Hyeon feels truly happy. She tells him that both her parents died and that she has no family left. Meanwhile, Deborah is secretly watching the family Dae lives with, believing that they are Dae's real family. He learns that the mother works at a pharmacy, so Deborah's men go there at night. She becomes scared and nervous and says to Deborah, "I'm loyal to no one. Let me live, and I'll do whatever you want." Deborah orders her to tell him where the diamond bag is hidden. It is then revealed that a conflict breaks out between Deborah and Dae over the bag. The mother gives in and tells Deborah that the bag is in her bedroom. She gives him the safe's password. Even though Deborah gets what he wants, he kills her cold-bloodedly. In the apartment above the pharmacy, her husband has no idea what is happening downstairs because he is wearing headphones. Deborah and his men break into his home and open the safe. Inside, they find a large amount of money along with the diamonds. After that, Deborah kills the father, and his men take the diamonds and money and leave. Deborah stays behind to wait for Dae. After a short time, Dae arrives and enters the apartment. He sees the bodies and realizes that Deborah is here. The two of them immediately attack each other, and a fierce, destructive fight breaks out. Deborah tries to overpower Dae. Not knowing that Dae is highly trained in martial arts, they destroy the house as they fight. Deborah tries to disable him with a kick, but Day is driven by his strong desire to complete the mission successfully so he can reunite with his sister. That is why he fights with all his strength. When Deborah realizes the fight is difficult, he pulls out his gun, but Day gives him no chance. He grabs a wire and strangles Deborah with it. Deborah pulls out a knife and slashes Day. Day blocks the attack with a broom, snatches the knife, stabs Deborah with it, and kills him, winning the battle. Day is badly injured. He sees the woman's body and feels guilty about her death. He realizes that the police will notice the bodies and the destruction, and that he must act so his identity is not exposed. He decides to destroy the house in a way that will make it look like an accident. He cuts the gas line and puts the knife inside the microwave. Then he leaves on his motorcycle. The knife causes sparks, the microwave explodes, and the entire house catches fire. The next day, the police carefully inspect the house. They find Day's name on a piece of his clothing, which allows them to identify him. They discover that he was disguised as a student at the school and that he has completely disappeared. They realize he was a North Korean agent. At that time, Day goes to a woman who sells food, who is also a North Korean agent. She is the last contact he is supposed to visit after completing his mission. Day gives her the password to prove that he is an agent like her. Because of his injuries, he loses consciousness, but the woman takes care of him and gives him food. The next day, Day helps her carry vegetables. When a police car approaches, he becomes nervous, but she tells him to act normally. After the police leave, she tells him that his behavior makes it obvious that he is hiding something. She talks with him and gets to know him better. She learns that he is only 20 years old and is shocked that someone so young works as a killer and secret agent. Day believes that his mission is finally over and that he will go home, but that does not happen. The next day, he receives a package from the North Korean government. Inside are the details of his final mission. He must retrieve the stolen diamonds. The colonel who once freed Day calls him and says, "I guarantee that if you complete this mission, you will return to your sister. The organization is counting on you. Don't let us down." Day agrees without hesitation, not knowing that this mission will put him close to death. He prepares a silenced pistol. The organization sends him a video of his sister to motivate him. In the video, she says, "I heard you're coming back soon. I miss you so much. I've prepared a gift for you that you'll love." Day is very happy when he watches the video. He heads to the building where the diamonds are kept. He notices that the place is heavily guarded. The gang leader looks at the diamonds, which are worth about $30 million. Day sneaks inside and kills 2 guards. The gang members sense something is wrong and start searching for him, but Day kills 2 more. The leader tries to escape, so Day throws a grenade into the place. One man survives and takes the diamond bag, trying to hide, but Day discovers his location and recovers it. After completing the mission successfully, Day goes to buy a gift for his sister. He also decides to buy a gift for the food vendor who took care of him. She jokes, "Wow, your taste is awful." Day replies, "I hope I see you in North Korea." She tells him, "I'm not leaving this place. When you go back to your country, forget this job. Live your life. Enjoy your youth." Day agrees with her words, says goodbye, and leaves. Before leaving the country, he goes to say goodbye to Hyun. He watches her dance. Then he tells her, "I'm leaving the country and going back to my homeland to meet my sister." Hyun is deeply upset, but she hides her feelings and says, "Make sure you call and check on me." After that, Day leaves. He heads to the final meeting point and meets the captain who is supposed to take him back to North Korea by boat. Day is extremely happy, believing that he will finally reunite with his sister and have breakfast with her the next morning. Suddenly, the captain stabs Day with a knife. Day is shocked and does not understand why. The captain tells him, "You're very naive. No agent ever returns to their country alive. They are all killed after finishing their missions." Day endures the pain, struggles, and fights back. He manages to kill the captain. He breaks down in tears when he realizes the truth. All agents are just ordinary people who can be sacrificed. He cannot believe that loyalty to one's country is rewarded this way. He concludes that his father was not killed because he was a traitor. His father had completed his mission and was preparing to return home, but the North Korean government had killed him instead. At the same time, city police uncover the agents working at the supermarket and the bakery and arrest them. Then they go to arrest the elderly woman. Dae is heading toward her at the same moment, but he sees the police surrounding her from all sides. When she notices Day, she tells him, "Run now!" The officer is confused about who she is talking to. Moments later, the police shoot and kill her. Day runs away. The officer notices him and tries to chase him. Day sets a trap, points a gun at the officer from behind, and disarms him. The officer says, "Your identity has been exposed. Turn yourself in. It's better for you. Your country has abandoned you. There's nothing you can do." But when the officer turns around, he realizes that Day has already escaped. Day goes to Hyeon's house. She becomes worried when she sees him unconscious and bleeding. She takes him inside and treats his wounds. She hears on the news that the police are searching for Day and that he had been pretending to be a student while actually being a spy. She is shocked by the news, but decides not to report him because she knows he is a good person. When Day wakes up, he tells her, "I can't stay here." But she stops him and says, "I know the truth about you." He asks her, "Are you going to leave me here, betray me, and hand me over to the police?" She replies, "I would never do that. We're friends." So Day spends the night at her place. The next morning, Hyeon goes to the supermarket. It turns out the same police officer is there. He asks the cashier if she has seen Day or Hyeon. The cashier tells him that Hyeon is there. The officer approaches Hyeon and says, "I know you and Day were close at school." Hyeon pretends not to know anything and asks, "What's going on?" He tells her, "Be honest with me. If you have any information, tell me." But she lies and says, "The last time I saw him was 2 months ago." After that, she runs home and hides Day's motorcycle. Meanwhile, the North Korean government brings Day's sister to South Korea. Then the colonel calls Day and says, "I'm in South Korea with your sister." Day is shaken, and his heart tightens with worry. The colonel says, "I'll make you a deal. Give me the diamond bag, and I'll give you your sister." He tells him the place where they will meet the next day. Day freezes when he learns that his sister is there. He knows it might be a trap, but all that matters to him is getting her back. He starts thinking about what he should do. The next morning, Hyeon wakes up to the sound of Day's motorcycle leaving. She is worried about him. She finds that he has left her a message and a photo of himself with his family. In the message, he asks her to inform the police about the location of the exchange. She does so, and the police begin tracking Day's motorcycle and following him. Day arrives at the garage and meets the colonel. At the same time, the police reach the area. Day asks to see his sister first. The colonel points to her inside a car. Day cries when he sees her. He takes out the bag of diamonds. One of the colonel's men prepares to kill Day, but a police officer shoots him first, saving Day's life. The police arrive, and a gunfight breaks out. The window of Day's car is shattered. Day fights with the colonel. Meanwhile, one of the colonel's men drives away with the car carrying Day's sister. Day tries to chase it, but cannot. It turns out the police have set up a roadblock. They stop the car and rescue Day's sister. When Day realizes she is safe, he is forced to run away so the police will not arrest him. But the disasters do not end. That night, the colonel calls Day and says, "I will keep hunting you. As long as you still have the diamonds, you and your sister will die in the end." Day learns that they have kidnapped Hyeon. He is shocked and deeply worried about her. The colonel tells him, "This is your last chance. Bring me the diamonds or I'll kill her," and then hangs up. Day calls the police officer and asks to speak to his sister. The officer agrees and hands her the phone. Day checks on her and asks if she is hurt. She tells him she is fine. Day apologizes for everything that has happened and says, "Please be patient. I'll come and save you." Then he speaks to the officer and says, "I'm going to do something tomorrow. After that, I'll turn myself in." Day cries in the street, worried about Hyeon because she is in danger because of him. He feels exhausted and overwhelmed, thinking he is too young to go through all of this. He arrives at the place where Hyeon is being held. He calls the officer so the police can trace his phone and locate him. He enters the warehouse where the colonel's men are. There are many hired killers inside. The colonel says, "I knew you would follow your feelings and be forced to come." Day carefully scans the place with his eyes, memorizing the entrances and exits. They allow him to see Hyeon. He then takes out the diamonds and throws them into the air. Everyone rushes toward them. Day kills one of them, but unfortunately, he gets shot in the shoulder. He fights back and kills as many as he can. He storms into the room where Hyeon is and kills 3 men in less than a second. However, there are too many of them. Day throws a grenade at the gas pipes, causing a huge explosion that kills many of them. He thinks he has finished off the gang. He takes Hyeon and tries to escape, but one of the mercenaries knocks him down and restrains him. Day orders Hyan to run. When she hears the police sirens, she runs toward them. Day shields himself using the mercenary's body to block the colonel's gunfire. The colonel is determined to kill him and shoots him in the stomach, nearly killing him. At that moment, the police officer intervenes and orders the colonel to drop his weapon. Day tricks him by raising his gun toward the officer, then suddenly turns and shoots the colonel instead. Day has been shot in the stomach by the colonel. The officer supports him, and they leave together. But Day collapses because of his injuries. The officer rushes him to the hospital. Hyan presses on his wound to help him stay conscious and make it to the hospital. Day wants to see his sister before he dies. But sadly, he cannot. He passes away. Hyan cries for him. His sister feels in her heart that her brother has died and starts crying too. And I cried for him as well. In the next scene, Hyan meets his sister and decides to get to know her. They become friends and walk together. Hyan tells her about her school days with Dai. And here, we reach the end of the episode. Don't forget to like and help us get this episode to 10,000 likes. If you made it to the end, put a gun emoji in the comments so I know who enjoyed the episode. Bye-bye.